And as requested by you guys, here we are at the 2011 Retro Kazoo update. So yes, you guys voted between 2011 and 1985, and 2011 won. So that is the next Retro Kazoo update that we will be doing here. We have 3 aircraft out here today. It's going to look pretty similar to what you've seen before, but hopefully you'll still learn of some new things here, as we do have one airline that is not normally here nowadays, so we will get into the update here. This one you've seen plenty of times here at Kalamazoo. It is the American Eagle UN-45, which is on the turn from Chicago O'Hare. Crazy how consistent this service is, as we are once again seeing it here. I mean, they've been flying this one on the UN-45s for probably 20 years or something out of Kalamazoo, which is absolutely insane. So the consistency of this service is just insane by American Airlines, and whether they're going to keep it going at least for the next few months before it goes to a CRJ 200 with Air Wisconsin. But what a route here by American Airlines and American Eagle. Whether it's the old livery or the new livery on the UN-45, it's always been here. So here it is once again, this American Eagle UN-45 on the turn from Chicago O'Hare. Moving on right here, our next aircraft is the Delta Connection CRJ 200. This update is taking place after their merger with Northwest, so this is their current day livery. This one is operated by Endeavor Air, and it is on the turn from Detroit Metro. Could also apply Minneapolis-St. Paul, as they still had that service back then. But we'll just say this one came in from Minneapolis and is pushing back for Detroit. Sorry about that. The heater has just started up, so had to cut it there for a second so I could close the door so it's not too loud. But right here we have an unusual aircraft, to say the least, here, one that you wouldn't expect to see at Kalamazoo. So here's kind of the situation. Back in 2011, Kalamazoo received service from Direct Air, and Direct Air was an old charter airline that flew to the southern United States from many areas, including Kalamazoo. They operated direct flights from Kalamazoo to Orlando. Sound familiar? But no, they're nothing like a Velo, because they were smaller and much less important, and they also had a bunch of fraud. So we'll get back to that later. So I'm using the Sun Country 737-700, even though Direct Air mostly used 737-400s from Extra Airways. I'm using the Sun Country 737 because they used to, at least according to Wikipedia, they did charter some Sun Country aircraft. They chartered JetBlue, Sun Country, Virgin America. It actually was Virgin America A319 that flew here to Kalamazoo. There was a photo of that one on the internet, and I would have used a Virgin America aircraft if I had one, but I don't have any, so we're going to use Sun Country instead, because it is confirmed that they have used that. Probably not at Kalamazoo. I don't think they've used it at Kalamazoo, but they could have at the time, and I don't have any Extra Airways aircraft. I don't really want to use the Hapag-Lloyd once again, because it's not even a 737-400, but we use this one instead, the Sun Country 737-700. So this one is on the turn to Orlando Sanford. They used to fly to Orlando Sanford and not MCO. So yeah, that's really cool here. Very interesting service, very interesting airline. So the fraud thing, the two founders of the airline were convicted with several counts of fraud about 3 or 4 years ago, something like that. I'm just taking all this information off of Wikipedia, so there might be a little asterisk to this, but so they're basically in jail for the rest of their life. So that's a pretty cool fact about this airline. Flew to Kalamazoo, among other destinations. It began in Myrtle Beach under Myrtle Beach Direct Air, or Airlines. It's some stupid name that's super long. So yeah, this is that. Yeah, so Direct Air, very, very funny story, very interesting story there. But they did used to fly here to Kalamazoo, direct flights to Orlando Sanford. Love to represent them here, and that's why I want to do this 2011 update, because I can include this really weird story. the 1985 update will not be as weird. That will be the next retro Kazoo update that we do in the future at some point. So we'll get onto that on a later date, but that'll do it for this update here. These 3 aircraft. So it looks pretty similar to today, honestly, with the exception of Direct Air now being swapped out with a Velo. Kind of funny that they do operate the same city pair, Orlando and Kalamazoo, although a Velo is vastly different from Direct Air, and hopefully they don't have the similar legal troubles. Of course, Direct Air no longer exists. They have not existed since like 2012, so this update would be towards the end of their existence, so yay. But yeah, this is an interesting update here. Kind of a funny story, but one that needed to be shared here, because I don't really think anyone else has really talked about Direct Air too much. Kind of a mysterious airline, honestly, because there isn't really much on Wikipedia on them anyways, and you can't find many photos of them, even though it says they used like Sun Country and JetBlue, Vision Airlines aircraft for their flights. Not much you can find, at least for the Sun Country and JetBlue, so I could have used my JetBlue model as well, but you know what, I'm going to use Sun Country because, you know, hometown airline. So yeah, that'll do it for this Retro Kazoo update. Hope you enjoyed this one. Stay tuned for more retro updates. I'll see you tomorrow. As always, good night. Auf Wiedersehen.